Today we're talking about Bitcoin crashes, institutional investors in Bitcoin, and why this is potentially the last year that a normal average citizen might be able to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, the major cryptocurrencies, and why potentially next year it might not be possible for them. There's a lot of very hard interest. Let's get into it. It's an exciting video. Venezuela is experiencing hyperinflation. For those of you who haven't ever lived through this, well, it is extreme. It's one of the primary reasons World War II happened, in my opinion. Adolf Hitler saw that Germany was falling under. Hyperinflation is essentially what you see right there, 14 million bolivars for a chicken. You literally have to take all your money in a wheelbarrow. And what's happening is every single time that the government decides to do a bad move, for example, in this case, what they're going to do is they're going to knock off a couple zeros from hyperinflation. That's great. It works temporarily, and then it happens even faster the next time. And then again, and then again. This was what happened in the Yugoslavia. Is that? Yeah, there we go. That's what happened in the 90s after the wars over there. And they had to knock off as much as 37 zeros one time from hyperinflation. You see this a lot in Africa. This is crazy. This was a fantastic video that I've been watching. I watched the whole thing, guys. If you are new to crypto or you're a big investor into it, but you may not know everything about institutional investors, starting from the 38, 39, 40 minute mark, it really is awesome. Now, regardless of whatever your perspectives are, it's always nice to broaden them. This video is just going to be discussing about why you should be sort of happy with Bitcoin and why it is a good price where it is at right now. This potentially could be the last year that Bitcoin is available for the normal consumers out there. It could experience another crash, but even if it does, one thing that I really love going back to, I've seen this like a million times now, it is a Reddit post that details all of the large crashes. So Bitcoin has spectacularly died 94% from June to November in 2011, from $32 to $2. That was the Mt. Gox hack. This was after, you know, Silk Road and stuff. Then 36% June 2012, from $7 to $4. Holy moly, can you imagine that, seeing from $32 and then it goes to 2 and then 7 and 4. It's like, oh no, this is a bubble. At that point, yeah, in 2012, you have to be crazy to invest in Bitcoin. But, you know, a lot of people did, and they became, some of them, millionaires or billionaires. Then Bitcoin crashed yet again, 79%. But this time, it turned around like crazy. You see a number $266 in there. It went to $54, and this time it is above both what it was in 2012 and 2011. This crash stopped at $54, which at that time was an amazing price. Now, for the people who invested in April, you know, they lost nearly 80%. Mt. Gox stopped trading, and a lot of people were affected due to Mt. Gox. It's quite unfortunate. Some people were locked in with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in there, and the situation is just now getting resolved. But, you know, hopefully most of those people were able to wait it out. Some might have lost their homes, I don't know. But then again, you can't invest with money that you can't afford to lose. 87% from 1166 to 170. 170, that is more than triple what it was when it crashed in 2013, and 49% from February 2014, 40%, 55%, and as you can see, the numbers keep rising from $5,000, from $19,000. So what's the next crash going to be like? From $25,000, from $30,000, from $50,000? Anything in the 20-something thousands range is going to be insane. Now, it did reach around, what was it, like $5,000, and currently Bitcoin is at $6,500. The entire market cap's around $215 billion for all the cryptos. It's doing spectacular compared to a couple years ago. And when you see stuff like what's going on in Venezuela, like, this is crazy. So you can see the fall in the value of the Venezuelan bolivar. and the annual inflation rate. And if you're like, well, that's Venezuela, I mean, do you want to check something out? American debt calculator, what was it, the debt clock. Here we go, usdebtclock.org. So every single year, if you're an American, you can see all these crazy numbers. The U.S. national debt is $21.4 trillion. $21.4 trillion, and per citizen, that's a debt of $65,187. And debt per taxpayer, because of children and all that stuff, that's nearly $176,000. That's crazy. The U.S. federal budget deficit's going up. The U.S. federal spending's going up 138%. I love how it's showing you all these numbers, right? So you can see Medicare, income security, Social Security. You might be one of the first people out there to experience, if you're an American and you're my age or a little bit younger than me, I'm 20 years old, you might not have Social Security, and it's looking like within the next 30 years, U.S. national debt's going to hit past $35 trillion. These are astronomical numbers, and you're talking about a Bitcoin bubble and how the U.S. dollar will always be here. No, the U.S. dollar is going through something that I don't want to experience the next crash, and a lot of experts are predicting that the next crash is going to be on the same level as the 2008 recession, or it could be even worse. And it may not happen for the next couple of years. It may happen, 2, 3, 5 years from now. It may happen a decade, 2 decades from now. But within our lifetimes, we will experience most likely something that's just going to rock this entire globe. And there will be a way out of it. People are going to live through it just like we always have. I mean, we survived through the Great Depression, but we don't want to be starting wars and all that stuff again. So you see that it's not just speculation. It's not just a store of value. It's not just some tool that you can, okay, I have a Bitcoin, let me try and get away from banks. It's a currency that could replace the fiat versions in certain countries. Venezuela's launching their petro cryptocurrency, and that's kind of a scam, so we're not really going to be talking about that. But hey, at least it's setting an example for other countries around the world. Maybe not the best example, but they're at least trying something. I don't know if Bitcoin's always going to be around. I think blockchain is definitely the next step. I don't know what's going to be happening over the next couple of years. But with the institutional investors, it seems like a lot of them are getting super excited. And what these guys were talking about, you can't listen to what they are saying necessarily. George Soros said Bitcoin is a bubble, and then not him, but his firm was connected with purchasing cryptocurrencies. They have a digital asset base, right? Most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Goldman Sachs, that was in February 7th. And only a couple months later, Goldman Sachs was in the news again because now they have a cryptocurrency department, or at least they hired a couple people for cryptocurrency management. You saw NASDAQ and SIBO, the Chicago Board of Exchange, get super excited about Bitcoin futures, and now there's a possibility of Bitcoin indexes and Bitcoin ETFs. You can see a little bit underneath what they wrote. But who's buying crypto now? So you got Stephen Cohen, a hedge fund manager. Most of these hedge fund guys are like a couple $100 million, a couple billion. You got Mark Lazary of Avenue Capital Group. You got Wellington Capital. Jamie Dimon went out against Bitcoin, and then he kind of retracted his statement. Now he's going back again, but JP Morgan Chase was linked with purchasing cryptocurrencies. What was it, Blackstone or BlackRock? I forgot. The trillion-dollar asset manager, they're looking into cryptocurrencies in the future. There we go. That's the name I was looking for. Mr. Horowitz. He is a billionaire. That's huge. And what I really liked about this video is later on they compare the Bitcoin crash to Amazon. So it kind of puts things into perspective a little bit. Here they're doing a little graph essentially of what was in Reddit. But Amazon's first days, I can't really find their chart. Here we go. I found it. So you can see Amazon's first couple of days, and Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world right now. You can see a crash from $94 to $54, a crash from $246 to $173, a crash from $402 to $297. And last but not least, I'm going to leave you with this. Don't stop believing. Bloomberg published this. Bitcoin's hash rate has kept rising even as prices fell. As you can see, there's a lot of people getting on board with that, even though Bitcoin fell from $19,000. And usually right around after summer ends, that's what happened last year, that's what happened a couple years in a row now. After summer ends, industries just have more capital to spend. There is a good chance that cryptos will go up, but if they don't, if it's going to be like the largest crypto crash, which I forgot which one that was, but there was one that was going for 420 something days. This one wasn't 420 days. I think it was the second or the third longest crash so far. It could be longer, but even if it's 500 days, that's not bad considering it. There is a very, very real possibility of everything getting a nice rise in price again. I mean, there's a reason these institutional investors are getting interested, but if you don't take my word for it, do some research. My name is Michael Kubera. Thanks so much for joining today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And that is that.